Adam is just trying to help. Interconnectivity of family members is important. Logan, are you aware that your brother's name day is coming up in 42 days? Have you prepared a gift?
I'm gonna shut off.
Sadly, he no longer have a turn off button.
No, I mean I'm gonna shut him off so I can't hear him on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I scanned it. What do my 11 eyes see?
Roll computers.
Oh, okay. I mean, he probably didn't expect Adam to be sitting on some pretty advanced scanning equipment.
You can actually, I'm going to say that you use the car's scanning equipment as well. Like, since your car's just over Dune, you're like using the car as you're scanning him, and something surprises you. He's 100% biological.
Oh, it's been ashore enhanced somehow. Alright, fair enough.
I mean, I can give.
I'll just file that away, and in case anyone asks, I'll show his, his contact information and everything, in case anyone asks.
You can see, though, that he's taking off in the dropship towards, basically back towards where they were originally coming from, leaving both the Saturn ship and also the burning wreckage of a dropship.
We loot the dropship?
If you can climb up there and get it.
I mean, I'm pretty good at climbing.
Well, that's true, you can.
Yeah. And I've got a grapple launcher on my gun now.
Oh yeah, I did give you that, didn't I?
I'd like to climb up there and, I'll tell the others. We have there is a chance that the individuals in that dropship might still be alive. This Adam unit will attempt to save them.
I mean, if I would enjoy joining you to take a look at them. Yes, I don't know how I'm getting up there.
Well, with my grapple launcher, I can actually bring someone with me with an athletics.
Yep. Anyway, Adam, 3 laws of robotics. Cannot let a human come to harm by inaction. I can't stop Logan from shooting someone because that would be against other parts of my programming.
Oh no, I'm not a murderer. I wouldn't try to kill them. If anything, I wanna help you save them.
There we go, let's go save them.
Okay, so basically, Logan, you get back. Integra's looking at you a little sullen, like he knows where we are now. And she's getting in the car with you, and others are probably getting in the van and the car, respectively.
Logan just mumbles after she says that. I know. And I'm gonna start disassembling the sniper rifle and storing it in its case so I can return it since I'm done with it. I'm also gonna put a sticky note, 2 shots fired. Did wonders, good gun, thanks a lot. Basically putting off a professional's review inside the case as well for its performance.
5 stars.
5 stars would shoot again.
5 stars.
Did we decide we were climbing up to get to the ship to see if we could spot anybody in there?
Yeah, apparently that's what you guys are doing. Who's going up there to see? Because 2 of you can climb naturally, one with grapple, one with claws.
As I'm driving my vehicle...
I'd like to join them, if I can.
As I'm driving the vehicle to just below where the crash site is, I'm gonna ask Integra real quick. Do you have somebody you trust in the nearby cities? Can you go to another city?
She thinks for a moment and basically shakes her head.
And wonderful. You see that Logan is visibly getting frustrated, but he doesn't say anything else. When they reach the crash site, he's gonna step out and take some survival tools. That I didn't bring a climber's kit, so I'm gonna try to climb up there and help with the rescue mission. Since, it's kind of my fault that happened, so... I'm gonna just roll basic athletics. Hope I get better.
Alright. Other than Adam and Caleb, anybody who wishes to get up there can roll athletics. Integra's staying down with the car.
I'm pretty poor at athletics.
Oh yeah, there we go. I'm
fail.
like a monkey up there.
And I'll try to bring Ruben along with me. I can make an athletics check with the grapple launcher to bring one person alongside.
Yeah, you can use athletics then. Let's see what you can do.
Ooh.
You don't drop him. I would say it's a very slow ascent right
You
now.
could use the watch since Ruben's with you.
No, you're holding
Yeah.
Ruben, which is holding a watch.
Yeah, just use the
I'll
watch.
use the watch to try and re-roll that.
Oh my god.
No? Is it worse?
Oh, but I do get a blue with that, I think, right, as well.
Yes,
right?
you do. You missed roll. Roll again.
What the fuck?
It does not want to work.
Okay, so you're going up very slowly. Just like you're still going up, but you're slowly going up. Integra's
hey.
still watching you. Like,
Ash, what if can I spend my triumph to somehow give him a hand? Them climbing the
Yeah.
wall.
I would say once you're up there, you can basically pull them
I
up.
do have a rope, so I can drop a rope for him.
Well, just grab hold of a grapnel and pull them up.
Yeah, that works.
So-
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, essentially you're helped up by Logan at that point. But Adam, you would be the first to get there, of course.
Yeah. I would turn on my loudspeakers and loudly pronounce, "Greetings! You are being rescued. Please do not resist."
You hear from a bit of the wreckage like one groan from it.
Ruben's kind of like over the comms. Like, while you're up there, Adam, would you be able to give me a basic sit rep?
Certainly.
Right, if you go on over, essentially you have to stay away from the fire, but it seems like at least 4 people died. There is one other person in what appears to be a black and red suit with a full face mask on his face, basically going all the way back across his head, and both pilots seem to have survived.
I'm
Once,
assuming that Adam relays that information, so I'm gonna start trying to help where the survivors are.
Okay.
I like to imagine that the pilots survived because they managed to angle the craft to save themselves and kill their passengers.
The pilots are a bit beaten up. There's glass of the canopy in their face and chest, but the canopy is blown open. So essentially, Logan, you can drag some people.
Yeah, I'm gonna
you can drag
reach
them
in,
both
grab
out.
those fuckers, and pull them out.
The other one that I mentioned was thrown free of the vehicle, and he's leaned up against one of the rock pillars, having watched the entire scene. But you can see blood just pooling beneath him. Seems like he didn't get out unscathed.
Ruben, I
Ruben
need you up
kinda
here.
like
This guy can't be moved.
Ruben kind of like runs over to the guy that was thrown from the craft and focuses his attention there first.
The other guys seem to be banged up, but still good. This guy seems to be the worst one off.
I'm going to attempt to remove this guy's mask.
As you reach up, he gives a small, it's so weak a swipe that even you can just brush it off. He's like, "Get away from me, you impure bastard."
Greetings! You are being rescued. Please do not resist.
Ruben's kind of he has a moment of hesitation when he kind of gets called out, but he rips the mask off and he's like, basically just goes, I understand you don't like me, but this is sort of my job.
Don't mind him, Ruben. These bastards are all the same. They are all fucking racists.
You can, as you take off his mask, you see blood just pour down his chin. He's like, he seems to be in a very critical condition.
I'm going to use the inhaler painkiller that I have, and I'm going to put it over his face while I try to attend to. I guess I'm going to look down into his lower, like his rib cage and his lungs. Is there any punctures or anything like that?
As you look back, you don't see anything, but when you look, basically checking over his body, you look on his back, you see a shard of metal sticking through his back. basically going up into one of his lungs.
Christ. I'm, Logan, you mind giving me a hand? I'm gonna try to flip this guy over. Or is he on his back or is he on his chest? I guess I should ask.
He's basically leaned up against the thing, but he's kept the shard of metal just from touching the rock.
I guess I'll roll medicine to see if it's possible for me to remove this piece of metal without killing this guy.
I'm no doctor, but I'll try to help him any way I can.
Meanwhile,
Right,
Caleb
this is-
just leans over and goes, "Hey, you know, if this guy needs a blood transfusion, I know first do no harm, but giving him azure-tinged blood would certainly be a kind of poetic justice. Just saying."
Don't you dare!
That's and Ruben just kind of like that's not very ethical.
Didn't say it was.
I'm yeah, I guess would you like me to roll medicine to see if that's even possible?
Yeah, you may.
What's the difficulty? Is it just standard or?
Yeah, standard. And let's see, Caleb and Logan, and actually, yeah, you wouldn't have to. Who's not paying attention? Okay, Logan and Caleb also roll perception.
Okay. That roll.
Oof. Right. Let's see. I'm gonna take that into account. Right. So medicine. You know that if you remove that piece of metal, he would probably bleed out in a matter of moments. The metal is probably the only thing keeping him breathing at this point.
Yeah, so I'll have to. He's kind of like weighing his options. He has a moment, and he goes, "Okay, I think this is how we have to do this." Caleb, do you have something that you could use to cut this piece of metal short so we can transport this man?
Yeah, man, I still got the torch I was gonna use to weld the doors shut before.
That being said, as you're distracted by this and going over, Adam, you see one of the pilots pull out a revolver, his shaky hand slowly bringing it over towards like the group for a moment as he pulls back the hammer. And Logan, you do hear the hammer getting pulled back, but with that disadvantage, essentially you're hearing it just as it gets to the end.
What disadvantage?
Adam, is there anything? No, I mean like you
The
got
three threats.
The threats. Like just as it reaches the end, essentially, you do hear it, but it just reaches the end as he's pointing it towards you guys. Adam, you do see this, however. So at any point of him pulling it out, you may do something.
Sure. I'll spit my needle at him before screaming really loudly. And I'll address, he will charge up his best, sergeant yelling noise, because this guy looks like a soldier. What are you doing, soldier? Drop that gun now! And then I'll shoot him while I charge towards him.
Alright, so roll for the dart.
Yeah, how do I
Also
do
roll
that?
for making him piss his pants.
Well,
Yeah, I assume that would also be there.
You roll ranged light, only one difficulty.
Okay, good. I should probably upgrade one dice because I'm shit at the, ranged.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just use a dart. I'll use a
And
sight.
since he's actually just laying there and can't dodge, you just get a blue. Situational. He's not exactly the most coherent. His gun arm is waving as well. It's like, fuck. Whew. And that's 2 damage. He is not wearing any armor. He's wearing a piloting suit. And the cocktail that he made. So, essentially, Logan, you turn around, probably with your own gun at the ready, and you just see his hand like still as a rock, but a needle sticking out the side of his neck. And he's like,
What about the other
I'm
pilot?
gonna steal his gun.
Hero pilot's still out cold.
Oh, good.
So you take his revolver, do you?
Yeah, and I put it into my little hidey hole. You never know when the cat is gonna point a revolver at you now.
You never know when the cat's gonna take out a tactical nuke from its belly.
You say that, but
I think giving you this compartment was probably much worse than actually giving you a gun mount.
Oh god, there's a cat following us. It has sharp claws to climb everywhere. It fires darts and now it has a gun to shoot at us.
Oh, Jesus.
At some point, it's going to be a stretch goal to fill that cavity with just grenades.
he just opens it and throws it with the tail, running around in circles.
Fuck you,
I'm a cat, motherfucker, I'm a cat.
We should just have a moment, like, for in like the final dungeon of the whole thing, and he opens up his compartment, you see him flick a bunch of grenade pins out, and he just goes, I am Superman. Before he detonates.
It's like,
I mean, I can see Adam doing that.
It's like, Adam, no. It's like, I am still here, by the way. That
Yeah,
was
like,
controlled.
right over
No.
here.
Yeah, it's like, actually, I'm like 2 kilometers away remote controlling this cat. Like, all right.
I'm totally fine. But yeah, essentially the guy just flops down from the needle. He was barely up to begin with. The damage from that just knocked him out. The other pilot, though, is still out cold, and if you want to remove the metal, I would say Ruben roll medicine and Caleb roll mechanics.
So what we're trying to do is, because I understand that like just ripping it out would be a bad idea, we're trying to trim it so that he can be lifted without like risk of touching it, or like, if that makes any sense, just trying to cut the piece of metal short so it's easier to work around.
Yeah.
This sounds like the beginning of a joke, by the way. So a surgeon and a mechanic are doing open surgery when...
I mean, we'll find out what happens when, I guess.
I have no idea what to spend 2 triumph on here.
Right, so essentially,
Spend it on us salvaging this fucking gunship.
That could be good, but I don't know how it would relate to that check.
Well, you're a mechanic. You're looking around. You could get inspired. It's like, wait, this is not as badly damaged as I thought.
No. This is how he finds the loot. Ah, it was stuck inside this guy's chest. There we go. I took it out now.
now, if you want, you can kindly ask your DM to put some sort of narrative bonus, basically. And you already told me what kind of narrative bonus you would like, and I could try figuring out what could happen.
Sure, yeah.
You know what pierced his heart? It was actually a crit chip with 100k on it.
As you are a masterwork at metal, and since he's wearing a metal chest plate, you basically chop it off and weld it to the chest plate. So in other words, it's stable within this person's chest now. It's so stable. But as you're looking around, you also find something in his pocket. It's like you see it sticking out, and as you pull it out, you see it's some sort of like key card of some kind. And you think back towards the dropship. You're like, oh yeah. There was some kind of locker there, wasn't there?
Sure, yeah, and I'll, I guess once we're sure that this guy is stable, I'll approach the pilots, and I would assume that they're wearing jackets of some kind, not just like regular clothes and nothing else.
Yeah, they're wearing jackets. Like,
And I'll just take the jacket off of one of them and use it to kind of beat back the flames a bit and get to the locker.
Ruben's kind of like, basically, he's still working on this guy. I'm trying to figure out how he would even feasibly get a piece. I don't know if he has the ability to remove this with the equipment that he has here, with just his medicine kit. Very
Not on
difficult
you?
procedure.
but you could take him back towards the city.
Yeah. It's like I don't have the equipment to fix this guy up here. It's like we'd have to take him back with us.
You gonna
Bastards left
be
behind.
stable enough to make a trip back down this canyon?
How are we getting them down?
Just throw him down, Integra says from the bottom.
That's a terrible idea.
I guess I could
Um,
tie my rope to him and, lower him down.
All right. So Ruben's gonna take a piece of rope. He's gonna bind this guy's hands, and bind, I guess, his feet. And yeah, I mean, using the rope, if we're careful, we can like lower him down to Integra by like tying it around his foot or something.
I'm assuming that as we're lowering him, we're kind of all, helping out with the rope. Ruben is in front because he's a strong, independent man, and he's, working the muscles. But in reality, Logan's behind him. Oh, he's so cute. Let him have this, and he's making it like he's doing all the work.
Ruben is super shrimpy.
Look at him. He deserves this. He's a good boy. Logan's making it.
He wasn't super athletic before the accident.
Yeah, that's how.
In the meantime, we're having to make like minor course corrections to prevent you from steering this guy into any sharp rocks.
Yeah, he's been pierced enough today. Let's not have him get pierced again.
Now, as you're doing this and trying to figure out how to lower this guy down, Caleb, you get towards the weapons locker and basically open it up, and you see like a black cylindrical case inside of it. It seems like the other weapons the troops already had, and they are currently burning.
Just out of curiosity, I'm sure the answer is no, because this thing crashed into the side of a mountain, but would it be at all possible to try to salvage the gun that was on this thing?
Let me see a second. Sadly, the 50 caliber is broken beyond belief. It does have one engine left. If you want to somehow get
For
that.
some reason, all we do is collect engines.
We're seriously just like we're on the fast track to making a Gundam.
With only
If I can dismantle it, I don't see why we shouldn't try to take it. I've got a van with lots of space in the back. We can bring it back.
I mean, even if we can't salvage the whole engine, I imagine there's some like valuable components that we could take from it, even if we can't like
Absolutely,
reliably
that
take
thing's
the whole
gotta be worth
engine.
a fortune.
Exactly. So you could strip it down for components for scrap or something like that. Of course, you could just throw those down off the cliff. Tegra may be angry. But if you wish to get the other guy down and safe, I would say it would take 2 of you using coordination.
Sounds good. I'll be one of those people.
Yeah, Ruben is very concerned. He's going to help
Is
out.
that a standard difficulty check, by the way?
Since there's 2 of you and you do have the rope, yes.
Okay then. Allow me.
So should I even bother rolling athletics?
I'm assuming that's your bad
Oh,
stat, right?
coordination.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's coordination.
So, okay, we
Oh,
make it, but
coordination.
I make it look like Ruben's doing all the work so he can feel better about himself.
Do it. Coordination, go!
Yeah, I make it look like Ruben's doing all the work because he deserves this.
Right.
Ruben's a book boy. He's even a good talking boy, and even has willpower. But like he's not. His hands are shaky and meek.
His weak
Just what you
palms
want
are
in a
sweating.
surgeon.
Mom spaghetti.
Okay, so you are trying your best to hold on and guide this man down towards the cliff, but you see just the rope just starts sliding through your hands, and you just see it tilting over. But Logan's trying to keep it steady, but he's hitting quite a few rocks on the way down. And eventually you just like that, and he's on the ground, unmoving.
Hey,
Did we kill
Integra!
this man?
Is he dead?
I think he's dead. She hasn't even gone over to check yet.
At least check on him before answering, woman.
She heads on over. It's like, leans down, puts fingers. Barely.
Ah, good enough.
I mean, he was barely when he was up here, so if we're
He
using
was
that as a
conscious when he was
measurement.
up there.
Nah, he probably has nothing of value to say anyway. He's an asshole. They all are.
Yeah, he's probably better off unconscious, everything considered. Considering that he wants to throttle the man trying to save his life, I think it's better that he's unconscious.
Speaking of unconscious, the other pilot is now waking up since I did his check. You seem like...
Before he gets any
what the-"
ideas, I'm gonna draw my gun on him.
He slowly puts his hands up.
Good.
Let me take a look at him. And Ruben just kind of like kneels next to him with a little light, and just without even really asking for permission or like doing anything, he basically just doing the trick where you peel somebody's eyelids open and you shine the light to see to check for a concussion.
He does seem to have a concussion, but otherwise he is okay. The other pilot, though, looks like he has both a concussion and is bleeding from multiple small wounds.
And is unconscious from a drug.
That too. If it helps, he doesn't feel a thing.
Party drug. Woohoo!
Ruben's kind of like, I'm just gonna quickly bandage up this guy's head.
Because
and,
I don't want to
I guess
because I don't want to repeat of last time, I'm gonna make sure to disarm both pilots before I leave them to Ruben's devices. So yeah, they don't get any other weird ideas.
I guess I'll work on these two guys, patch up the wounds on the guy who has more wounds, but overall try to treat both of their head traumas as best I can.
You did mention that there's a few dead soldiers, Ash. Can I find the bodies?
You mean the 4 bodies? Sadly, as I mentioned, they are currently melting under as you're burning.
Yeah. So they're basically a pile of nothing.
Yes. The engine seems to have dropped off, though.
What a mess. I'm gonna wait for Ruben to finish
It's
his
your
treat-
fault. That's integral, by the way. It's like, it's your fault.
Thanks. I know. I made my choice, okay? It was either you guys or them. They were firing at you.
We're
grateful.
I'm not like I don't, it's not good what happened, but they were firing on us. You did what you had to do. It's like these
Yeah,
are
I mean,
these
all
are
things
trained
considered.
soldiers.
Yeah, they're trained soldiers and, by all accounts, also rat bastards, so I'm not too broken up about it.
Well, to be fair, they're more just racist assholes in the militia, but yeah, basically.
Logan just lets out
Integral.
a frustrated sigh. See, this is why I wanted to stop being a goddamn mercenary. What am I doing out here? Why am I fucking doing this shit again? And he just in frustration throws a rock over the edge.
Don't throw stuff
Elevated
down
blood
here.
pressure detected. Would you like a calming agent or perhaps some soothing music?
Shut up, Adam!
Silent mode engaged.
So it was like, don't
I
worry
like to
about
imagine the calming agent was going to be another dart.
it. It's like, sure, I have it. As long as it's with... Ow.
By the way, I didn't hit.
Oh, I
Integral
can
with
see
that rock,
purple.
Did I hit Integral or something down there? Because I think she said something.
No, she said stop throwing things down here.
Okay. Logan is just gonna wait around for Ruben to finish his treatment so I can help him bring the pilots down there as well.
Yeah,
Ruben's
did the
kinda
engine...
like,
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying Ruben, the guy that's still conscious but has a just like, how are you feeling? Do you feel strong enough to hold on to some rope while we get you down? Oh my god, people are moving furniture upstairs. He was just asking the guy who's conscious if he feels himself enough to be able to hold on to some rope while we lower him down with his friend.
Ash?
You want to lower down with pilots?
Oh, so I was just asking the pilot that's conscious if he feels strong enough to hold on to the rope while we lower both of them down.
He nods. He seems to be okay strength-wise. He's a bit dizzy, but otherwise. So yeah, he's easily gonna hold on to a rope and get lowered down to the bottom. Am I gonna suspect that you guys stuffed them in the back of a van, or...?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. There's a bed in the back anyway.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're not putting them on the bed since they're dirty and bleeding. Fuck 'em. I mean,
Well,
there's
to be
still
fair,
racists.
the bed was dirty to begin with.
Oh.
Yeah, true. I haven't done anything with it yet, so we literally just drove it back and spent 2 days working on repairs and stuff. So
Ruben
the
hasn't
van has
taken
been
the time
untouched the entire time.
to clean out and sterilize it yet. I'm just gonna go. I'm going to assume that somewhere in my medicine kit I just have like either paper or like some kind of plastic covering, and I'm just gonna like set up an area that's sterile despite the dirty van and set everybody down. And basically, he's gonna stay alongside the guy with the piece of metal stuck in him the whole trip to try to make sure he stays with us.
Oh, and I was
Okay.
going to ask, before we all climbed down, did the engine seem recoverable, or was it mostly just you could take it apart for spare parts?
It could be recovered with some work on it. Essentially, it's a jet engine.
It'd be really difficult to get down though. Like,
Considering Caleb
shove
seems
it off.
inclined to make some profit out of this entire mess, Logan is gonna help him with both hands in agreement, because he just spent a lot of cash to get that sniper for today, and he needs to at least break
so
even.
I guess if you guys were, if you were crafty, I guess you could shove it off and try to make it land in like a sand dune or something to cushion the impact to see if you could try and spare it.
It is way too heavy to lower it down by hand,
Something
but
useful that may have, been left behind.
sadly, the two mechanics, I'm going to say, searched it quite thoroughly.
Okay. That's fair.
However, Caleb does have the crate that he found.
Yeah, I'll wait till we get back on the ground before I open that up and see what's in it.
So I'm going to assume that you guys take the ropes down,
Yeah.
and Adam slides down coolly with his claws.
And I'm gonna recover my rope, because something tells me that's gonna be useful in the future as well.
Technology savvy world, rope, most useful thing.
Never underestimate the power of good old-fashioned rope.
Yes. So you get down to the bottom. Integra's waiting for you guys, like, okay, everybody's loaded up. You know, they did relieve that land ship here as well.
Yeah. Bro,
I
it's
mean-
maybe that's still in good enough condition for us to get back to Austin.
Well, it's a hunk of junk, but I think it could work.
Honestly, we
Could
don't
be
even
worth
have to take
something.
don't even have to take it all the way to Austin. We can just make it to the gas station. I'm sure the old man would be more than happy to get it off our hands.
That's true. I mean, it's large. Should be fine. We
Yeah.
can drive in reverse so it doesn't scoop up any sand up
Yeah,
in the
it should be
hole
big
that we
enough
made.
to get his ego inside. He'll like it.
She laughs as she's getting in the car and the dog climbs on her lap.
Since it's been a while, I'm gonna go back to my vehicle and grab a bag of peanuts, and I'm gonna toss it over to Integra. Here.
She opens the bag, eats one, and feeds one to the dog. Eats one, feeds one to the dog.
That's what I assumed would happen there. I still got 16 bags of peanuts.
It's important to keep track of.
He has to feed his pets.
I like how you use the plural there.
Exactly. So you're gonna check out the crate?
Yeah,
Let's see what we roll on the loot
if it
table.
unlocks.
So you probably hike it up, put it on, like, it's quite heavy. You put it on the hood of Logan's car, and you flick the sides open and open it up, and before you see what's essentially a disposable rocket launcher.
Holy shit.
Ooh, that could be really handy.
Basically, this is the type of rocket launcher that you fire and ditch the canister.
Caleb, what's with you and finding explosives left and right?
It's not my fault. I rolled for the thing.
I said Caleb, not you.
I know, but it was just super lucky. I don't know why. Ridiculous.
Well, you know, I seem to have a knack for it, I guess, so better me than somebody else.
I guess.
I think it's really funny that, like, when I rolled, I got a needle gun. It's like, oh, that's exactly what I would use.
Caleb finds explosives left and right. Let's go to a fucking nuclear plant. Let's see what he finds there.
I feel like that would be the worst place to try to find explosives.
Or the best place, depending on how you're depending on how
You look at it.
how maniacal you're feeling.
So far you got good loot, and you're going to go back to the vehicle, which is still operational. Integra changed it to 4-wheel drive, so you can basically drive backwards all the way back to the gas station, so you're not too far, but it is basically going to be almost nighttime.
I'm gonna make sure to drive my car slowly so I can be next to her.